Hi there, my name is Daniel from Transport and Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking through your 2023 Wildwood 161QK. We're just going to start off the back of the trailer. If you do notice, you are pre-wired for an observation camera, as well as a lip-rig stair system to get up to your roof. If you're interested in any of those, you just have to talk to our parts department about that. Also, in the back of the unit, you do have this nice little storage compartment, as well as a spare tire. In the corner, in the back bumper here, if you just pull this cap off, you will notice that you do have a sewer hose in here. Take note of those two ears that are on it. Take note of these two ears that are on it. Those are going to be the same two ears that hook up to your sewer outlet, which I'll show you in a second. We just keep this in the back bumper here, keep the stench out of the unit. In this corner of the trailer, as well as all four corners of the trailer, you are going to find stabilizer jacks. The way those works is you're just going to hook up the tool to the bolt, run these down to the ground, give it another 1/8 turn just to snug it up, and it's just going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. And you have a cable satellite inlet at this corner. Come a little further forward, you do have your city water connection as well as your black tank flush. The way that city water connection works is if you're out of site with service, you can just plug a garden hose into here, turn on the water, it's going to pressurize your lines without needing to run your pump. And the black tank flush with your sewer connected and open, let's say you're getting reading on the monitor panel, you know for a fact it's empty, that's just technically debris hanging between the probes. So you just hook a garden hose up to here with your sewer connected and open, turn on that water, and it is just going to rinse out that tank, trying to get that debris out of there, as well as taking a little bit of the smell away. Behind this panel here is just your service port for your hot water heater. If you open that up, I'm going to go over a reset procedure inside. The button I refer to is just right here. Also on back here is just your 1 6/8" drain bolt. So if you're ever going to drain the unit for the season or whatever, that is where you do so. And then you also, whenever you get to your campsite for the first time, you are just going to want to give that pressure relief valve a pull, where you should get a shot of water that comes out. With there being no water coming out, the unit is just winterized right now, so you wouldn't want to go firing up that water heater whenever that tank's empty, because you do run the risk of burning out your probes. Right down from there, we do have your sewer outlet. The way that works is you just take this cap, pull that off. You'll pull that off. You got the same ears on your sewer hose as you do on here. They just line up with those notches there. You lock that into place. You got your black valve and your gray valve. Your black valve is going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, so you're going to want to empty that first. Then you can follow behind that with your gray water, which is technically your cleaner water, which is filled from your sinks and your showers. And then right next to that, you have your low point drains. So let's say you want to drain the water out of the lines for the season, or you don't want the water going stale or stagnant. You just take these caps off. It is just going to drain all the water that's inside these lines out. And just one more cap right here. It would be your fresh water drain. Take that off, and it will drain your fresh tank. And then if you just come up here, you will notice that this is your power cord. You just line that notch on this plug end with this notch on the trailer, and it should plug into place. Give it that 1/8 turn to lock it in, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. Follow that back, you do have your standard 30-amp plug end. Most campsites should have this, so you can plug right on in, but if they don't, we do include a 15-amp park adapter. That also works if you're at home and you're wanting to run your fridge. Just keep in mind, you are going down to 15 amps of power, so you can't run something like your air conditioner. You do have a blue light and a red light on this plug. The blue light is just telling you have a good power source. If that red light were to be on, it's telling you you have a bad power source, so that would be something I would look into. Right here, you do have your fresh water fill connection, so that's just going to fill your fresh water tank. And right below that is just your exterior shower. It is just your silver 751 key to open that up. And you're going to have a swivel head in there, as well as hot and cold water. Right up here, this flap here, this is just for your range hood. This is for evacuating the fumes and smell off the stove out of the unit. Just always making sure that flap is open so that the fan is actually blowing the air out of the unit. But whenever you do go to travel, if you snap that back into place, it is just going to limit the amount of dust that gets inside the unit. On this side of the compartment, you open this up, and you do have an open, nice little storage spot. Here is that tool I was telling you about earlier for the stabilizer jacks. Just hooks right up onto there. One way's down, one way's up. At the front of the unit, you have this little black box. That's going to be your battery box. At the front of the frame here, there is a battery disconnect switch. With the battery disconnect switch off, the batteries are disconnected or connected to the unit. When the battery disconnect switch is on, the batteries are connected to the unit. And then you just got your standard barbecue style propane tank. Just open that up to open the flow to the unit. And then you just have your standard tongue jack. One way's up, the other way's down. On this side of the compartment here, if you open this up, you do just have your little griddle. Pull that out. It's going to give you access to this propane hose here. Just take a note, this is the little dust cap that we keep on there. Just feeding that behind the stove, the little griddle. Comes underneath the trailer and does just connect to this little propane quick connect. So pulling that dust cap off, it is going to allow you to push that collar back and push the hose in, and that locks into place. And then you can open your flow of propane, and then you'll be able to light your griddle from there. So if you just turn that, sometimes it can take a few minutes just to clear all the air out of the lines. And there you go. The stove is lit, and you have your griddle on. Just turning that off, turn it off. Now, with that, whenever the flow is open, it isn't going to allow you to undo that collar just for safety precautions. So you do have to close that, and it'll allow you to then disconnect the line, putting the dust cap back on each end, sealing that away. And then to close it on up, it just works pretty simply. Just tuck that hose back into the back of the, close that up. Just keep note of this little silver plate here. This is your furnace exhaust. Whenever your furnace is running, it is going to be blowing hot air out of there. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. To get inside the unit, you just take this assist handle, push it up, fold it 90 degrees. It's going to lock into place. Open up your door. You get your stairs down. Now, one thing I will note that whenever you are running your awning, being mindful of how you have this door, because if you have it all the way open, it is going to make contact with the door and you run the risk of doing some damage. So always just making sure your door is at 90 degrees whenever you run this awning, just to make sure you don't scratch or bend anything. You got your one light switch on the left that does your awning light, and you have this light switch here. This is the only light it is going to operate. It's just a little entrance light. The rest of the lights are just on their own set of push buttons inside this unit. Now if you take this button and you push it down, the awning's going to start making its way out. You know, you're going to know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get there today, but I will show you that if it does start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, just pull it down, and you can change the pitch of that awning head just by pulling it down, allowing water to then run off. Now, if you do like that angle better because it allows for more shade underneath the awning, you can do the same thing with the front arm. Just always making sure you remember to push those arms back to straight whenever you bring your awning back in. Bring the awning in, it is just as simple as holding that button up. As soon as that awning arm contacts the side of the trailer, the motors are going to stall out, so that's when you're in. And then you have your monitor panel system, so you got the water pump switch on the left. Right beside that is your water heater light. If you turn that water heater on, this DSI fault light's going to come on. The water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this DSI fault light's going to stay on. So at that point, you do have to turn the switch off. Go to that service port I told you about, hit that black button, then you can come back in and try turning it back on, and it should light the 2nd time. And then you just have your monitor panel, so you got battery, just goes low, fair, good, and charging. And then you got your fresh, your black, and your gray, and that goes empty, 1/3, 2/3, and then full. And then right beside that is just your solar controller. There's not much that's really going to tell you. There's no batteries inside the unit, so it's not going to let you change your battery type. So you can run between 2 batteries, and then you just got your amps and your volts, so it's going to tell you what exactly the system's doing. There's not much control, it's just more of a monitor system. Once you get inside the trailer, you will notice that you do have a fire extinguisher just down on that left-hand corner. Pull the pin and shoot just like home. And then you do have your stereo system for this unit. What is nice is you can take it wherever you want. If you're going to the beach, you can take it with you. It is rechargeable. Just charges on this charging station here, and it just works like any other Bluetooth speaker. You have your dinette in the front. If you do want to turn it into a bed, you can do so. This little mount here just slides out of the spot, and you can put that tabletop down, turn it into a bed, and then to get it back into a table, you're just locking this mount back into place, like so, and it's not going anywhere. In the kitchen area, you do have this range hood, which I told you about, so whenever you are using this oven or the stove, I do recommend having this fan on, just so you're evacuating the fumes out of the unit. To turn the stove on, you are just flipping that glass cover back. Just keeping in mind it is glass, so you have to be gentle. Turn those stove knob lights on. Turn it over to high, and then just hit the sparker with the right control, and it fires right on up. You got your microwave, which is just like home. Not much I'm going to show you there. Speaking of propane, propane's heavier than air. It's going to sit on the ground. This LP detector here is going to detect it. Once that guy starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane off at the front of the unit. Open up all the windows and allow it to air out a little bit. And then you do have your little circuit breaker panel here. Just taking note, you got all your fuses on your right. Whenever a fuse pops, there will be a red indicator light telling you which one's popped. And then whenever a breaker pops, you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. It will just sit in the middle whenever it's popped. Inside this cupboard here, you will notice that you got that little false panel down here. There will be one screw holding this in place. You take that screw out, and it will give you access to your water pump as well as your bypass valves on your water heater. Up on this wall here, you do have your Everchill fridge. So if you just grab that handle, open it up, you do have your freezer settings right up top here. 5 being the coldest, 1 being the warmest. And then right down below is just your fridge section. You got your set button, so that's pretty much
in the way.
That is gonna tell you what setting you're just hitting. That button is telling you what setting you're gonna go to. So between 2 and 3 is gonna be allowing you to run off battery power, but if you do have it at 5, which is 13 volts, the highest you can have it, you will have to be plugged into shore power. On the wall here just is your thermostat, as well as your TV backer, and then you do have your coax plug-in as well as 2 120 plug-ins. To operate that thermostat, the first time you hit it, it's just going to illuminate itself. Hit it again, and you're going to go into fan low. So at this point, you're just going to be moving around with moving air around with the fan and the air conditioner. No cooling involved. Same thing, but on a high fan, and now you get to cool high. So now the actual air conditioner takes into effect, and now you get to cool low, which is just the same thing on a low fan. Now you get into the auto system. So the auto system just becomes an on-demand system, so it'll kick in and out as needed. And then you just get over to heat. And that's just going to turn the furnace on. The furnace does move all its air through a single portal, which is right behind me here on the ground. It moves all its air through there. So if you would want to move some of that heat to the bedroom, I do recommend getting a fan. Once you get inside the bathroom, light switch is just on its own center push button again. You got your shower on one side, and then you do have your sink and your toilet on the other. And also on this wall, you do have your main GFI plug. If you ever have a plug that doesn't work, this would be the first thing I'd check. So you do have reset in the middle and test on the left. Whenever that yellow light on is just telling you that there was a problem. So you just hit that reset button, and it resets it, and you should have power back to those plugs again. And then just getting it back inside the bedroom here. All the lights are just on their center push buttons again. You do have your TV backer on this wall here, and then you do have your main antenna source right here. So whenever that button is pressed down and that green light's on, it's just turning the antenna on the roof on. All the blinds in the unit do work the same. Just kind of sit where you leave them. So if you pull that blind down, it's going to stay there. Push it up, it's going to stay up, or you can just have it all the way down. This window is a fire exit. The way that works is you just take this little red tab, pull it out, you take this handle, push it out of the unit, and you can hop right on out. You do have 110 plugs and USB plugins on both sides of the bed. And then lifting up the foot of the bed, lifting up that mattress, you can get access to that rear storage compartment underneath your bed. So if you were wanting to keep blankets under there, you could. That is going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.